大家好，欢迎你回到 CHI 113的频道，我是高老师。今天我们要学第二课家庭，跟我说家庭。Hey everybody, this is Gao 老师, and today we're going to begin studying Lesson 2, Dialogue 2. If you watch this video and follow its instructions, you will be able to accomplish the following learning objectives. Number 1, you'll be able to understand and be able to pronounce using the correct tones all of the assigned vocab words from Lesson 2, Dialogue 2. Number 2, you'll be able to read and fully comprehend the dialogue. Number 3, you'll have a basic understanding of the dialogue's main grammar points, and there are 2 that we'll focus on here. And number 4, you should be able to read and write all of the characters for next class's in-class quiz. 好的，准备好了吗？我们开始吧。Let's begin preparing for the next class by first listening to the audio of our new vocab words. As you hear the speaker pronounce these words, please try your best to mimic their pronunciation out loud.
Lesson 2, Dialogue 2. Vocabulary. 1.
家
Family. Home. 2.
几
How many? Some. A few. 3.
口
A measure word for number of family members. 4.
哥哥
Older brother. 5.
两
2. A couple of. 6.
妹妹
Younger sister. 7.
和
And. 8.
大姐
Eldest sister. 9.
二姐
Second oldest sister.
Please go back now and listen to this audio at least 2 to 3 more times, repeating out loud what you hear. Let's move on now and listen to the audio of our textbook dialogue.
Lesson 2, Dialogue 2. Asking about someone's family.
白英爱，你家有几口人？
我家有6口人，我爸爸，我妈妈，一个哥哥，2个妹妹和我。李友，你家有几口人？
我家有5口人，爸爸、妈妈、大姐、二姐和我。
Please go back and listen to this audio at least 2 more times, making sure you can fully comprehend what both speakers are saying. And if you want more practice with the new vocab words from Lesson 2, Dialogue 2, don't forget to use Quizlet. I've created a flashcard deck here that includes all of our new vocab words from the first part of Lesson 2, Dialogue 2. All you have to do to access this is scan the QR code on your screen or click on the link in the description section of this video. So there's 2 grammar points that we'll focus on for the next class session. The first one appears towards the middle of the dialogue here, and it's 白英爱 is the one who says it. So I'll just read here what 白英爱 says. She says, 我家有6口人，我爸爸，我妈妈，一个哥哥，2个妹妹和我。So it's this 两 which means 2. And so here we're going to focus on what is exactly the difference between are, which also means 2, and this new word, 两. So the main difference between these is are is used in counting numbers. So if we're going to count to 3, we would say 一二三, whereas 两 is used when counting objects, and so usually you'll see it before a measure word. Let's look at a few examples here. So if I asked you 中文怎么说 22, you would say 22. So here you're using r, right? Because it's a number. In the second example here of a cell phone number, 手机号码, if it was 13822881422, here again you would use r. So we would say 13828881422. So again, when counting numbers and in number combinations, you're going to want to use r. 好，我们来练习一下. Let's practice. Do you think it's r here or 两? And because there's a quantity, right, we're counting an object here, we're counting older sisters, we're going to use 两. So if you want to say I have 2 older sisters, you would say 我有2个姐姐. 我有2个姐姐. What about this one? Is it r or 两? Since we're counting numbers here, right, it's 22, you would use r. So you would say 我们班, which means our class, 我们班有22个女孩子. Let's get some additional practice here. Try your best to see if you can fill in the blanks here using either r or 两. So let's look at A. Here we're counting. So here you're going to want to use r. You'll say 1, 2, 3, 4. What about B? Here we're counting objects, right? So it's going to be 2 people. So we're going to want to use the new word 两口人, 2 people. What about C? Here again we're counting objects, and notice how it's whatever it is going to appear before a measure word. So again, it's going to be 两个老师, 2 teachers, 2个老师. And then what about D? It's a number combination. So even though there is a measure word here, you're going to use r because you're saying 32. It's a number combination. So you'll say 32个学生. 32个学生. Let's move on now and look at our final grammar point today. And this one is 和. So 白英爱, she says 2个妹妹, right? 2 sisters, 2 younger sisters. 和我 and myself. So let's look at how this 和 is used in sentences. The conjunction 和 means and it's used to join nouns, pronouns, and noun phrases. And so usually the pattern you're going to see is a noun followed by 和followed by another noun. And when you're mentioning multiple things, if there are multiple nouns, then you would use 和 to connect the last 2 items. So you'd only use it once. Let's practice. So we could say 爸爸和妈妈都是老师. 爸爸和妈妈都是老师. Meaning, my father and mother are both teachers. Let's look at this example. 哥哥姐姐和我都是美国人. 哥哥姐姐和我都是美国人. So here we are listing things, right? We've got 哥哥, older brother, 姐姐, older sister, and we also have ourselves in here. So 和 is just used to connect the last 2 items. And it's important to remember that unlike and in English, 和 is never used to join 2 clauses or sentences. And it's also not normally used to join verbs or adjectives, though I should say sometimes you will hear people use it that way. So let's look here. Let's test ourselves. 对不对? 对不对? 我有一个哥哥和一个姐姐。Is that right? 对，可以，没问题。That's okay. You can use the 和 there, right? Because it's separating two nouns. Let's look at number 2. 对不对？我爸爸是医生，和我妈妈是老师。So my dad is a doctor and my mom is a teacher. 对不对？不对， right? That would be incorrect. You can't use 和 to join two clauses here. You just simply leave it off and you'll be fine. Let's look at another one. Number 3. 对不对？我家有5个人，我爸爸和妈妈和哥哥和姐姐和我。Is that the proper use of 和？不对。So here you notice there's many, many 和's in this sentence, 4 of them altogether. And we do that often in English. We'll throw the word and in there all the time. But in Chinese, you just need to keep the last one. So 和 here is only used to connect the last 2 items when you're listing off multiple things. Let's get some additional practice with this conjunction 和。中文怎么说 Mr. Gao and Miss Bai. 中文怎么说高先生和白小姐. So here it's just put between the two nouns, right? 高先生, Mr. Gao, 和 and 白小姐 and Miss Bai. What about this one? 中文怎么说 Teacher and student. 老师和学生. So again, 和 is simply put between teacher and student, between both of these nouns. 老师和学生. We'll get much more additional practice using these 2 grammar points in our next classes session. In the meantime, though, I'd encourage you, again, to reference your integrated Chinese textbook for additional explanations and examples of how to use these grammar points. And here I'd point you to page 60 in your textbook. So, now that we've listened to the audio several times, you feel very comfortable pronouncing the vocab words using correct tones, and you've got a good understanding of the dialogue and a basic understanding of the main grammar points. Now it's time to start practicing writing the characters that'll be on the next class's dictation quiz. So here's the first one. 家, 家, meaning family or home. 几, 几 meaning how many, some, a few. 口, 口, which is a measure word for number of family members. 哥哥, 哥哥, which means oldest brother or older brother. 两, 两, which means 2, a couple of. 妹妹, 妹妹, which means younger sister. 和, 和, which means and. 大姐, 大姐, which means eldest sister. 二姐, 二姐, which means second oldest sister. For those of you wanting more practice writing characters, and I hope that's a lot of you, because characters are one of the more fascinating aspects of the language itself. And if you want to learn more about writing characters using the correct stroke order, you should definitely check out this free app, which unfortunately, sorry Android users, it's only available for iPhone users. What I like about this app is that you can look up any character and get the definition, so it's basically a dictionary app. But in addition to that, whenever you look up a single character, as you can see on the screen here, it'll walk you through the strokes for writing that character. And then it'll actually, on the bottom half of your smartphone, it'll give you an opportunity to practice writing the character using the correct stroke order. If you were to write the character using the incorrect stroke order, it would tell you, no, you got to go back and write the character correctly using the correct stroke order. So it's a really cool app. Go try it out. And once you feel comfortable with the new vocab words, characters, and grammar points from the first part of Lesson 2, Dialogue 2, don't forget to take the Lesson 2, Dialogue 2, Part 1 pre-class practice quiz in Canvas before our next class session. 好的，谢谢大家，下次见，拜拜。